Kubernetes, DFIR.
Symmetric says.
Click here to watch the walkthrough video.
Yeah, it's like this.
Mayor Malware laughed hard at what he had done. Another scheme hatched.
Yeah, go on. I'm waiting.
Lol.
Okay, I can read it all. Mayor Malware laughed hard at what he had done. Another scheme hatched, another scheme won. But a thought passed the mayor. The thought had passed twice. The list soon to come, the town's naughty or nice. He paced and he paced like a week of election, until that was it. A surprise mayor inspection. The list-making wares, well, it only seemed fair, would grant him temp access and account for the mayor. The list makers agreed. Under certain conditions, he logged on that day to confirm his suspicions. The next day they were, when the naughty list read, Mayor Malware Lynette, he read it with dread. The conditions they gave, he looks like a nice guy, right? The conditions they gave, there's something they missed. Somehow and someday he accessed the list. Mayor Malware then smiled, as he'd find no blame. With this, he would find a new home for his name. So he'll just, I'm assuming, we'll see what happens. Learning objectives. Learn about Kubernetes, what
Looks
it is,
like we need to get into
and
Mayor account
why
and
it
need
is
to head
used.
in one Mayor Malware. Easy peasy.
Translated from Polish.
Learn about DFIR and the challenges that come with DFIR in an environment. I can't read. I skipped a word. Ephemeral environment. Learn how DFIR can be done in Kubernetes environment using log analysis. So these things, I don't know, like good. It's great to learn them, even though it's not a thing that I've been thinking like, yeah, let's learn DFIR. So let's start the machine and read on. And we'll get the split screen. And we'll have to survive the split screen. And it always scrolls up to the top for some reason. Kubernetes explained. Back in the day, it was very common for companies, organizations to use a monolithic architecture when building their applications. A monolithic architecture is an application built as a single unit, a single code base, and usually a single executable deployed as a single component. For many companies, this worked and still does to this day. However, for some companies, this style of architecture is causing problems, especially when it came to scaling. The problem with a monolithic application is that if one single part of the application
Chef's
needs
Almighty
scaling...
says. Gotta make dinner, have a great stream.
Yeah, and thank you again for the raid, and welcome back anytime. I'll check your streams out for sure. Okay? So have a great dinner, and good night if I don't see you again. So, the problem with a monolithic application is that if one single part of the application needs scaling, the whole application has to be scaled with it. It would make far more sense for companies with applications that receive fluctuating levels of demand across their parts to break the application down, component by component, and run them as their own microservices. That way, if one microservice starts to receive an increase in demand, it can be scaled up rather than the entire application. Yeah, sounds smart. The great microservice adoption. Microservice architecture was adopted by companies like Netflix, which is a perfect example. Let's just full screen this so we can get our screen back and hop it over to the other screen. And let's just full screen this thing. So we have on our right screen now this thing, right? And then we can get rid of this. Much nicer view. But it'll, again, we need to scroll from the top, so where on earth am I? Let's make it a bit bigger too, right? Maybe not that big. So, Netflix, which was a perfect example of a hypothetical company discussed above. Their need to scale up services dedicated to streaming when a new title is released, while services dedicated to user registration, billing, etc. won't need the same scaling level, made a microservices architecture a no-brainer. As time went by, companies similar to Netflix hopped aboard the Microservices Express, and it became very widely adopted. Now, as for the hosting of these microservices, containers were chosen due to their lightweight nature. Only, as you can imagine, an application of this scale can require hundreds or even thousands of containers. Suddenly, a tool was needed to organize and manage these containers. Introducing Kubernetes. Well, you guessed it, that's exactly what Kubernetes was made for. Kubernetes is a container orchestration system. Imagine one of those microservices mentioned earlier is running in a container, and suddenly there is an increase in traffic, and this one container can no longer handle all requests. The solution to this problem is to have another container spun up for this microservice and balance the traffic between the two. Kubernetes takes care of this solution for you, orchestrating those containers when needed. That makes things a lot easier for everyone involved, and it's because of this, along with the widespread adoption of microservice architecture, that Kubernetes is so ubiquitous in the digital landscape today. This popularity means that it's highly portable. No matter what technology stack is being used, it's very likely a Kubernetes integration is available. This, along with the fact that it can help make an application highly available and scalable, makes Kubernetes a no-brainer. In Kubernetes, container runs in pods. These pods run on nodes, and a collection of nodes makes up a Kubernetes cluster. This is within a cluster that McSkitty and Code's investigation will occur today. If you're interested in learning more about Kubernetes, we have a range of rooms on the subject. A good place to start is the Intro to Kubernetes room. Then there's plenty more where that came from, with the Kubernetes hardening module. So let's just see, did I do these? I did that one, but not this thing. Oh, that's a whole list of things to do. Okay. DFIR basics. Every cybersecurity professional has stumbled or will stumble upon DFIR at some point in their career.
I was in a stream, but had to run to the store. Was here when I came back.
Okay. Yeah, that's happened to me lots of times. So, it is an acronym in IT. We all love our acronyms. That stands for Digital Forensics and Incident Response. That's why I didn't recognize it, because I've seen this several times. Why do I keep forgetting it? DFIR is not that hard, is it? Digital Forensic and Incident Response. Should remember that. So, these two investigative branches of cybersecurity come into play during the cybersecurity incident. A DFIR expert will likely be called to action as soon as an incident is ascertained and will be expected to perform actions that fall into one of or both of the two disciplines. Digital forensics, like any other forensic discipline, aims to collect and analyze digital evidence of an incident. Artifacts collected from the affected systems are used to trace the chain of attack and uncover all facts and ultimately led to the incident. DFIR experts sometimes use the term post-mortem. Oh, that's to indicate that their analysis starts off with the incident has occurred and performed on already compromised systems and networks. Incident response. While still relying on data analysis and investigate the incident, focuses on responsive actions such as threat containment and system recovery. The incident responder will isolate infected machines, use the data collected during the analysis to identify the hole in the infrastructure security and close it, and then recover the affected system to clean previous to compromised state. Picture an incident responder as the emergency first responder whose aim is to contain the damage, extinguish the fire, and find and stabilize all the victims. On the other hand, the digital forensics analyst is the crime scene investigator, CSI, or detective trying to recreate the crime scene and ultimately find evidence to identify and frame the criminal. Sounds bad, but word choice. Both roles are expected to document all findings thoroughly. The incident responder will present them to explain how the incident happened and what can be learned from it, ultimately proposing changes to improve the security state of the entity affected by the incident. The digital forensics analyst will use the findings to demonstrate the attacker's action and eventually testify against them in court. In the task at hand, we will help McSkitty and the Glitch become digital forensic analysts and retrace the malicious actor's step. We will especially focus on collecting evidence and artifacts to uncover the perpetrator and present our analysis to werewolf townspeople, so everybody will know who it is, trying to ruin Sockness. Excruciatingly for real, okay? Excruciatingly for real. DFIR can be a lot of fun. It's easy to feel like a digital detective, analyzing the crime scene and connecting the dots to create a narrative string of events explaining what happened. What if the crime scene vanished into thin air moments after the crime was committed? That is a problem we face regularly when carrying out DFIR in a Kubernetes environment. This is because, as mentioned, Kubernetes workloads run in containers. It is very common that a container will have a very short lifespan, either spun up to run a job quickly or handle increased load, etc., before being spun back down again. In fact, in this year, 2024, Cloud Native Security and User Report, SysDig, found that 70% of containers have less than 5 minutes. Ooh, that's short. That's very short. So, what can we do about it? Well, not to worry. It just means that we have to expand our digital detectives toolkit. The key to keeping track of ongoings in your often ephemeral workloads within your Kubernetes environment is increasing visibility. There are a few ways you can do this.
Hey, DK.
Yeah. One way is by enabling Kubernetes audit logging, a function that Kubernetes provides, allowing for requests to the API to be captured at various stages. For example, if a user makes a request to delete a pod, this request can be captured, and while the pod will be deleted and logs contained within it lasts, the requests made to delete it will be persisted.
Yeah, we raided because Mrs. Sheps came home.
That's the raid reason. So, welcome in all the raiders. What request events are captured can be defined with an audit policy. We can use these audit logs to answer questions which help us in a security DFIR context, such as what happened, When did it happen? Who initiated it? To what did it happen? Where was it observed? From where was it initiated? To where was it going? Of course, this just scratches the surface in terms of level of visibility we can achieve with our Kubernetes environment. We can feed these audit logs, as well as events from other security-relevant sources, into runtime security tools, which help transform these raw events into actionable data, which can then be visualized using yet more tools. A digital detective should definitely invest in an extra large toolkit. If you want to learn more on the subject, check out the Kubernetes Runtime Security Room. Following the cookie crumbs. I think we're going to go to the practical stuff now. We have this this one. Let's keep some of the pretty background up. We don't need that big a window, do we? At least is it skin? Can be visible. Following the cookie crumbs. So let's do this, right? This is the purpose of doing this.
Translated from Tagalog.
Making me work here. Minikube start. Minikube not a command. So apparently not. Let's finish this read, I guess. That's kind of funny. As this is the whole purpose for this one, right? On the VM, open the terminal. As start key 8 using the... They mean and. Okay, it's just a typo. And Minikube start. Yeah, I did that before. I misspelled it. This is not my first time misspelling this and going like, what on earth?
Cube with a K, didn't you see?
Yeah. At least I saw it first, right? So in Swedish, most things are spelled with a K. That sounds like a K. Well, not all of them.
Opinion says.
The Minikube was a Sony radio, wasn't it?
Very good question. I don't have an answer. So, last time I did this, I also spelled it wrong. So it's like obvious where there's a K and not a C, right? But still. Let's Google it. Tell me all about it. Let's see what they say to do. Remove for brevity. Enable items. It will take roughly 3 minutes for the cluster to configure itself and start. Yeah, let's chat some. Should we Google that? You can verify that the cluster is up and running by using the following commands. Let's do this soon. It actually did start, so it did its job. So cube ctl get pods in variable. And did I spell that right? No C's where there's supposed to be K's. So morality checker, naughty or nice? Naughty picker. Nice picker. Okay. And the naughty or nice one says error image pull. I wonder if it's supposed to. Now it says cache loop back off. Crash loop back off. Yeah. So here it says running. If all pods are up and running based on their status, you're ready to go. This will take another 2 minutes. Okay, since we know that the web application was compromised, let's connect to that pod and see if we can recover any logs. And that's the one we're waiting for. Connect to the pod using the following command. Let's see if we can copy this right. Cube, ctl, exec, and where will node your nice, it, interactive terminal, right? Dash dash bin bash. So, let's see if it's up before we paste. It's still going. Let's try it again. Wasn't that enough time? My hubby started talking about the game it's playing. Yeah, it's running. It was just... So, is there a special reason or anything? Just got up early? Working, maybe? Yeah, so we've
Max
already
Kim
read
says
this.
hello, hugging face.
Hi, welcome in. So, let's see here. Cube, CTL. I'm typing the command they're telling me from the, let's say, experimentation part. Or guided part of it. Let's hope there's something thinking. There's probably. And naughty or nice. And we want an interactive terminal here, which is bin bash. There. So, did I spell everything right? And have dashes and spaces in the right places? We'll see. Yeah, so now we're in the Kubernetes. Once connected, let's review the bash2 log. So we're going to check the log also. And I'm gonna have to type because copying and pasting in this fake web browser old thing is like not fun.
Back.
So yeah, welcome back, Vivian. So we haven't done anything really for a bit, right? For log push to access.log. So, and I'm like not even thinking about what I'm doing, but of course we have the log there, and there's probably some cool info in there. But I'm guessing they'll ask us to do something. Sadly, we only see logs on the 28th of October, when our attack occurred later on. Looking at the last log, however, we can see something interesting in the request being made. Let's actually look at the log then. So, CMD, who am I? Yeah, that looks kinda interesting. So what's Shelly PHP? Like Shelly? That's not what I call my web shells, but why not? So we'll see if I can read forums when we're on the check-in now. Looking at the last log, however, we see something interesting with a request being made to Shelly PHP file. So, this tells us we are on the right track. Terminate your session to the pod using exit. Fortunately, Mexkitty knew that the log source was Imperial and decided to ensure that remote backups of the log source were made. Navigate to our backup directory using. So we're gonna hop over here. So I'm assuming we exit. We're back at the box. We go to so where are we? We're already on Ubuntu. Why would I cd to it? So cdd f tab, yeah. And here we have pod Apache 2 access. We will find the access logs stored and review these logs to see what Manuel was up to on the website and answer the first 3 questions at the bottom of this task. So, it's the pod. So, let's cat pod tab. And let's hop and check what questions we're about to look at. So, questions. What is the name of the web shell? Shelly.php. What file did malware read from the pod? Now we have to check. So we can see the Shelly ones here. And we can see db.php was catted. So let's answer db.php. What tool did malware search for that could be used to create a remote connection from the pod? Which NC? So we kinda could have guessed. We didn't even read how to read it, right? So then we are asked about IP connected to Docker registry that was unexpected and all the stuff here. So we'll have to go up. Oh. So it's quite a lot of stuff we have left to do. Let's see. I'm like, it was a split bit of text. More log files. Here. This is a big text chunk. Sadly, our investigation hits a bit of a brick wall here. Firstly, because the pod was configured using a port forward, we don't see the actual IP that was used to connect to the instance. Also, we still don't fully understand how the web shell found its way into the pod. However, we rebooted the cluster, and now the web shell was present, meaning it must live within the actual image of the pod itself. That means we need to investigate the Docker image itself. To view the registry container ID, run the following command. So, we must have made changes there. And that's what we talked about logging right before. So, let's do Docker PS. Now, let's continue to see if we have new logs. Let's just read this line. Oh my god. My throat is really not very happy with me reading this much. So, exit container name. Okay. So, we have the same numbers as they do. This is the same machine, same VM. So why would they do Docker container name ID here?
Whoopity whoop 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 whoop.
Whoopity whoop whoop. Let's run this even if it's not supposed to lead anywhere. So Docker exec, and then container name or ID, and we have names or IDs. I'm saying names when I mean IDs. So let's do 77 FDD F 1 FF 1 B8 and ls. Well, they do AL, I do LA, whatever. Var logs log, of course. And it is nothing, so let's do the other one. CT9E77 B8 885. And there's stuff here. Then they only meant the other one. Why? Let's see what they say. Again, we have walls, but we don't have any registry logs. Okay, so they're not the right kind of logs. Luckily, Docker itself would keep logs for us. Let's pull these logs using the following. Okay. So, I'll have to type everything. We can easily copy and paste within this, right? Oh my goodness. Oh, let's read all of this. And now we have something we can use. These logs have been folded for you and are stored in home Ubuntu DFIR artifacts Docker registry logs log file. Let's start by seeing all the different connections that were made to the registry by searching the head HTTP request code and restricting it down to only the first. So we're going to copy this line. It's long enough to be worth it. Welcome, man.
New follower Vegwar. Less than
Thank
3.
you for the follow. Yeah, sometimes I shift control copy and it opens after. So that's what I did. So now we can paste it here. It's not extremely long, but I think it's worth it. Possibly. Now we can paste. So, all the different connections that were made to the registry were searching read question. So, IP addresses. Here we see most of the connections to our registry was made from an expected IP of 172.17.01. However, we can see connection also made by 10.10.30.3, which is not an IP known to us. Let's find all the requests made by this IP. So now instead we grep for the IP there. So click to. So we see a lot of those IPs. Yeah, they use these for this too. 10, 10, 130, 253. Okay. So now you see the full lines. It was cut before. And now we're getting somewhere. If we review the first few requests, we can see that there are several authentication attempts made here. But we can also see that the request to read the manifest for the wishlist web image succeeded. As HTTP syscode 200 is returned by this log entry. Wishlist web manifest latest. What we also notice is the user agent is a request is Docker, meaning that this is a request made through the Docker CLI to pull the image. This is confirmed, and we have several requests then to download the image. From this, we learned several things. The Docker CLI location was used to connect to the registry. Connections came from Did, which was unexpected, since we only upload images from her72 Did. The client was authenticated, which allowed the image to be pulled. It means whoever made the request had access to credentials. If they had access to credentials to pull an image, the credentials might have allowed them to also push a new image. We can verify this by narrowing our search by to any patch HTTP methods. The patch method is used to update Docker images in a registry. So let's look a bit at this. We can actually expand this. So it's not like I also have a toothbrush in the way of the screen. The best way to have your toothbrush, right? In front of the screen. At least you will never forget to brush your teeth. So, you see what I see. Good. So, yeah, this is why I didn't start with this, because it would have taken time to read all of this. We can see here, though, it says patch several times. So we have get, we have head, we have patch, and we have patch again. State. Oof. Git commits. Kernel. And the other one says yeah, so let's hop back here. We don't have to grab this because I saw the lines easily, so we could have grabbed that. They just did a second grab, yeah. This is not good. It means that Mayor malware could push a new version of our image. This would explain how the web shell made its way onto the image. Since Mayor malware pulled the image, made malicious updates, and then pushed this compromised image back to the registry. Use the information to answer questions 4 through 6 at the bottom of the task. Now that we know Mayor malware had access to the credentials of the Docker registry, we need to learn how he could have gained access to them. We use these credentials in our Kubernetes cluster to read the image from the registry. So let's see what could have happened to disclose them. So before we continue here, we better answer the questions. So we still have lots of commands and stuff to do. So how many questions did it say that I should answer? Better know this. 4 to 6, so 3 more. 3 more questions. So what IP connection to the Docker registry was unexpected? Yeah, so we knew this some time ago. It actually told us. We didn't have to think for this. I always hope there's thinking involved. At what time is the first contact made from this IP to the Docker registry? So we have the list here. And I'm assuming the oldest is the first one. So 19.3.12.
Opinion says.
Can you grep the list?
Yeah, but for what? It's already grabbed. They just did another grab, but I read the lines already. So they are not asking about the first patch, though, so... I'm just reading the dates now. Oh, they want the full thing.
I see, sorry, I was distracted on another screen.
Okay. So I think this is what they want. So I can't copy it, can I? I can copy it, I just have to copy it from here. Again. So let's see if that's the right one. So we have a correct answer there. At what time is the updated malicious image pushed to the registry? Which of them? They probably have the same time, do they? So we can grab for the second one so we can see these stick out better. So let's just grab for patch. Alright. So they don't have the same time, but they both patch. So I'm assuming they'd guess they'd mean the first one, right? It's not a big difference. It's a 28 and a 31. So
Fix it.
Yeah, I better fix it, right? Yeah, so the first one was right. Then it's the last question is from the last bit. So we have to scroll up to a lot of text again. That was not enough, was it? Here. 46. Okay. So it looks like the attack happened via the authenticated Docker registry push. Now it's time to return to our Kubernetes environment and determine how this was possible. McSkitty was made aware that mere malware was given the user the access to the modernized Kubernetes environment, but was assured by the DevSecOps chief that he wouldn't have sufficient permissions to use secrets, etc. The first thing we should do is to make sure this is the case. To do this, McSkitty decides to check what role is assigned to the mayor. She first checked the role bindings. So would you want to give any permissions to this mayor?
There are loads of us in NOOB second Discord chatting away in VC. I sent you an invite to the server in case you want to pop in and say hello to everyone later. Theo is in there right now, smile, it's a good server and loads of people you already know in there.
Yeah, I might be in there already. Did you check? You could always try searching. I think I'm in there. Maybe. I can always pop in to say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. So thank you. I'll look later. So it's already 22:49.
I know, it's just in case you wanted to wave occasionally. I'm restreaming you in there now, lol.
Okay. Thank you. And hi if anyone is watching. So, let's see. the first thing we should do is make sure that this is the case. Do this once he decides to check the rules up. Mayor first checks the role bindings. So, do you think we'll be able to copy this? I don't think we'll be able to copy this without messing it up, but we can try. So, we can tell how to type. Oh, sorry for the noise. Cube with a K, CTL. Get role binding. N. Where, well, we did this already, right? I can't spell QV. No, we didn't do this. We didn't do role bindings. Mayor user binding. Role mayor user. So. Mixkit then sees a role binding name of a mayor malware and decides to take a closer look. From the output, she can see that used. Yeah, we're supposed to scroll there so I can see the full command. There. And let's use a bit of this. CTL describe. Role binding. Mayor. This is quite complex. Binding and werewolf. So name mayor's binding, labels known, can role mayor. Yeah, I messed about this sometime, but not a lot. Kind name workspace. Now from the output you can see that the role mayor user responded to the user mayor malware. Skitty then checked this role to see what permission it has, and therefore mayor malware had. So we're gonna have to check again, so you can see the full command. Here I'm double clicking stuff here. kubectl describe role mayor user and werewolf. So resources, create, get list, pulse exec, pulse get list, watch, get list describe for these. The output tells Mixkitty something very important. A lot of permissions listed here are as you would expect for a non-admin user in the Kubernetes environment. All of those except for the permission associated with pods exec. Exec allows the user to shell into the running containers within a pod. This gives Mixkitty an idea that what mayor malware might have done. To confirm her suspicions, she checks the audit logs for mayor malware's activity. And I think we are gonna copy this command, because it's kind of long. I think we'll save time going into here and not clearing it, obviously. It's so odd not to save. And we paste it. So to read the command, we're getting the audit log, grepping for this. this returns a lot of logs. Go through them as mosquitoes start to form and attack.
Adverts, but keep going, I can catch up.
Let's check it this then. So this is not that interesting to miss, right? So to look at just one of these logs, the user mayor authenticated. Audit ID, Kubernetes secret namespace variable API request received timestamp, user agents. So resource secrets. Resource roles. Resource role bindings. Pods. Resource pods. So it's like not telling me a lot. Yeah, I was just checking the logs while you were going there. It didn't tell me a lot. So, this log snippet tells us that Mayor Malware attempted to get the secrets stored on the cluster, but received a 403 response as it didn't have sufficient permissions to do so. So where on earth is the 403? This is so much text. So it's funny how they tell us. This tells us, right? Can you read this? So we'd want some more human readable format like tables. I'm just trying to get the codes. Like a 403. Let's grab for 403 then in this, I guess. Because I'm blind. So here's the 403. Forbidden. So 2 of them.
Maybe said or orc?
I'm not feeling I need to do this more. If we were to really get this data, we would make something prettier, right? We'd want it to
I'm
to
terrible
view
with
this.
text manipulation tools.
Yeah, but this we wouldn't want to see in CLI. We would want this in like maybe some web tool reading data, right? Not like that if we wanted to really look at it, because it's not easy to find the 403s even in this text, and it's where humans are good at recognizing tiny bits of stuff. So, but it's still like impossible to see in all of this text. So even though I know now that it's 403,
they give you some challenges where the idea is to create the command that strips out the data you want.
Here's the 403. So now when I know where in it, it's easy to find it. But when it's all this text,
and some of them are really, really long.
Yeah. But I don't think it's worth it to. Though I wouldn't know what to look for in this, right? That's the problem. It's not like I. Yeah, just get some nice way to. It looks just like JSON data. We could make prettier looks easy with Python or something. like HTML page with Python, and we're much prettier, right?
Degware
So
says,
there's already tools.
JQ can make this easier to read.
Yeah. So lots of the earlier rooms, we've actually had this kind of thing in the advent of cyber. So if you've been doing them, we have other
well
rooms.
Well done, Thegwargsy.
Yeah. Welcome in. This is the first time chat. So if we look here, we have quite a few log analysis here. AWS, log analysis. So a lot of these use JQ. It's all probably mentioned in some of them. So even if we wouldn't like do that, now we have to find the spot we were at. So what tool do we get for that? Role bindings, describe role binding, look at the headers here. So, yeah, further up. Gosh, why did I scroll? Here. So, returns a lot. Starts to form a path taken by mere malware. Gets secrets. This log snippet tells us that mere malware attempted to get a secret stored in the cluster, but received a 403 response. This is what we just read. This didn't have permissions to do so. A plural get command runs a list on the backend and is why it appears as so in the logs. Okay. After being denied access, mere malware started to see what roles were present. Yeah, so when I just scrolled, I was looking for the text after the resource, and then we could see like how it was going. This line is not readable in any way, so this is actually more readable here. So here we see the pods, and here we have role bindings, right? And then we had roles, and then we had secrets. This is what I saw from here. That's all I could see from this. So it's like somehow it got some secret. And probably the one with more data here, right? So this is the one. I'm kind of thinking this is something from here. Or let's actually read it all. Forbidden details, kind secrets, kind status version, status failure, secrets forbidden, cannot list resource secrets in API group. Names is spiral, forbidden details. So the graphing here is making it unreadable. So they have just removed all but the line they want to show, but it's not readable here because it's not line wrapped. After being denied the secret access, mere malware then started snooping to see what roles were present on the cluster. Whilst running the previous get roles command, mere malware will have found a role called job runner. These logs tell us that mere malware then described this role, which would have given him key pieces of information regarding the role, most important for our investigation. It would have told him this role has secret read access. So, now, knowing this role can read secret, I'll try to find a role binding. See what was using this role. So, if we check down a bit here, allowed by role binding. Roles, a lot of roles there. Role bindings. And we see the code 200 here. So the secrets ones, if I'm looking for code 403. Yeah, so this can help us. The code 403 and the code. Yeah, we could actually make code red too, right? And they also have the verb marked out. List, get, list, get. So get role bindings, something, right? And if we made code red, I could find that easier every time. It is not worth it, is it? Let's read on. But yeah, we'll get a question at the end. Now, knowing this role, view secrets, mirror, try to find its role binding, describe role binding. After seeing a role binding named job running binding mirror, describe it to find out this role is bound to the service account named job runner SA. Give the service account has permission to view secrets. Here we can see that mere malware now armed with the knowledge that the service account has the permissions he needs. Lists all the pods running the variable namespace with the kubectl get pods command. Mere malware describes the pod as morality checker. He then would have found out that this pod runs with the job runner as a service account attached, meaning that he were able to gain access to this pod. If he were able, he would be able to gain secret read access. As mentioned in the role discussion, exec is permission usually not included in a non-admin role. It is for this exact reason that this is the case. Skitty feels confident that the DevSecOps team had overly permissive role-based access control. My ear is telling me that it's running out of battery. So, if we don't want the chat echo, I better switch. So, yeah, role-based access control are back in place in the Kubernetes environment, and that it was that allowed mere malware to run an exec command. That's captured by the logs above. Gain access to morality checker to confirm her suspicious further execute around the following command retrieve all the logs captured from the job runner SER service account. So, cat audit log user that's a long graph. Resource verb. So I'm not gonna wanna type that. Will it paste? No. What? I'm so annoyed at this. Clear. Copy. Paste. This is why I don't like the split screen. So, we already checked the command a bit. So now we're just listing what this username runs. Let's say that this is not my life goal to be allowed to read a lot of these logs manually. Here we can see a few, but I can imagine if this was a real thing, you know, and there was an actual criminal, then you would be like, oh my god, I found some information here, right? But this is just this. Here we can see a few commands being run. We can see Mayor Malware is able to now run get commands on secrets and listen. But most importantly, we can see that he has indeed been able to escalate his privileges and gain access to the Polcred secret, using the job runner as a service account. The final piece of the puzzle revolves around this secret. Finally, she runs the command, and the attack path is confirmed. So, qctl get secret Polcreds. So, copy. Let's clear it. Let's paste. It worked this time, no problems. And then we paste it here. So, Mr. Naughty. Username is nice. Password is naughty. And we have an O thingy there. Let's see. Shaken head. Ms. Kitty then confirms that the Docker registry pull password is the same as the push password. This means that after retrieving these credentials, Mayor Malware could have been able to make the Docker registry push we saw earlier, and the shortest malicious web shell was deployed into the Kubernetes environment and gained persistence. It is for this reason that push and pull credentials should always be different. With that, the investigation is all tied up. The conclusion being that Mayor Malware most certainly belongs on the naughty list this year. So we have a question. What is the value stored in the Polcred secret? So they want the full thing? No? So this is what we have. Column, bird wings. So I'm thinking it's this. Oh, this is not it. Is it? Yeah, it's just this first bit. Or does it want, it doesn't actually want the full thing. Yeah, I think it wants the full thing. There. So let's copy this. Let's hope that it managed to copy it, because sometimes it does. It did. So there. And we checked that I had done this already, so there. I want to play with Kubernetes and more with Docker. But looking at text logs is not like, I'm sure, the best way to read logs. I mean, this is not, if someone is doing this as their job, they're not gonna read this, right? They're gonna search the data in a nice way, not on the command line. Though I did take note of the command color always for grep,